Okay, you must be shapeless, you must be formless like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. When you pour water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can drip and it can crash, become like water, my friend. So, the beginning of greatness. So Bruce Lee was born 1940 in San Francisco, California. He moved to Hong Kong with his family around 5. He started doing childhood acting, and later on that landed him a role with the Green Hornet. So going back, he went to college at the age of 12 at LaSalle College in Hong Kong, and then eventually when he was in college, he got into a lot of fighting, street gang activity. But before that happened, somebody had banked him. It was a leader of the Triads or something. Y'all know Rush Hour Triads. Triads are real. So he was going, and eventually he wanted to learn how to fight because he was getting beaten up so much, and especially at college, because the gangs went to the college that he went to. So then he ran into this guy named Yip Man. His first name is Sifu, Yip Man. Sifu was his first name, and he became the master of the teacher, and Bruce Lee's biggest philosophy was to be honest with yourself. Stay true to yourself. It's easy to mimic somebody or mock somebody, but can you be honest, even in your fighting, the way you talk, the way you execute everything? So going forward, how it all started. When I was a young boy, my first babysitter, his name was Tariq Majid, and he was a California baby, just as Bruce Lee was. He earned a black belt in martial arts. I don't know which martial arts because it was so long ago, I haven't heard from him. And he taught me, he would show me these moves and stuff, and I would ask him who, what, like, who is this Bruce Lee? We watched movies. He told me stories about Bruce Lee, how he died, and I'll get into that later. So, meeting destiny. So, yes, I don't say everybody's ambitious, but Bruce Lee was a very young and ambitious man. So, after he learned how to fight from Yip Man, he had a quick temper and quick fist. Usually that comes with the temper, quick fist. And he eventually had to go back to he had to go back to the States, United States. That's what he called it, the States. And he went back because his parents suggested that he went back because the policeman said, look, man, if you get into one more retaliation, because he started beating up the street gangs. And he said, if you get into one more retaliation, he told his dad, like, look, you gotta go. So he went to Seattle, Washington, a college in Seattle, Washington, and he opened up a martial arts school in Seattle and 2 in California. Then he met his wife, Linda, in California. And she was actually one of his students in the martial arts school. So going forward, he took Wing Chun, what he learned from his master Yip Man, and he took traditional boxing and Okinawan karate and changed the aspects of Wing Chun to create Jeet Kune Do. So then he went to Hong Kong, back to Hong Kong, because he wasn't getting no play with the Hollywood actors and to make a movie. So he went to Hong Kong. He made a movie called He made a movie called The Big Boss. And then he made another movie. That's his master Yip Man. And click it one more time. And then Fist of Fury was his second movie. Now, eventually, he was starting to understand the game. People didn't want to work with him, but he worked with the people who wanted to work with him, which is his people, Chinese people. So he made, keep that right there. He made The Way of the Dragon by himself. He was like the Tyler Perry of his time, but he didn't take it as far as Tyler Perry did it. And then later on, so basically Hollywood wanted him, blah, blah, blah. And then he came back to the United States. John Saxon, tough guy, lined up with him to create it was Enter the Dragon, right? And I just showed you Way of the Dragon. So we're going to Enter the Dragon, the one when he was on the island fighting everybody in the matches. So long story short, basically, he wasn't feeling good one day on set, and then he went to this actress house. This was 1973 in July. An actress gave him a pill for his headache, and he ended up passing away at her house. It was Betty Tangpei house, and that's her right there. That's not his wife, but his wife was Linda, as I was talking about earlier. They had 2 kids, Brandon and Shannon. And anyways, going forward, he died. She walked in the room and she thought he was asleep, I guess, or something, and he couldn't be revived. And he died of edema, what was it? Edema, basically brain swelling. So going back to my mentor when I was little, my first babysitter, he told me, you know, basically somebody poisoned him with the pill. Because you would think, how can you get a headache pill and end up dying from brain swelling? Because brain swelling is caused by cancer, stroke, meningitis, and all of that. So his unknown legacy. I was born June 12, 1995, and in Norfolk, Virginia. And when I was young, I excelled in educational programs like Bruce Lee at LaSalle and in Seattle. I got accepted into Norfolk State's Honor College. When I was little, I went to a gifted school, Meadowbrook, and I got accepted into the IB program at Granby. I denied it. And then I came, when I was little, how Bruce Lee was mastering martial arts, I was mastering tennis. I played 6 years of competition from 6th to 12th grade. But during the way, like Bruce Lee, he had a lot of problems like me. Like he injured his back during the height of his career, or supposed to be the height of his career. And that's why he went into acting eventually. But he trained, he didn't make excuses. He wanted to test his limits. And when I was younger, I was in a lot of drug activity, especially in college. And it turned to the point that not going to school turned to not going to school at all. And I was put in a mental institution. And while I was in there, I would train, I would study, like, because I had homework for the classes, but nobody to teach me. I was very good in math. I would do new workout regimens, and I would try workout stunts like balancing on my head with my neck and moving my legs around in the teapot position. And you know, now I help out at church. I took kinesiology and sociology at Norfolk State, and now that's why I want to do you know, psychology, because I feel like that prepped me for what I'm doing now. And I still work out. I work out in Norfolk, I work out in Portsmouth, I work out in Virginia Beach. And in conclusion, I feel like Bruce Lee is saying, don't live by what you feel, live by what you know, because which leads me to the quote he said, click. And this is his grave site in Seattle. This is his son on the right, and this is him on the left. And then click one more time. This is the quote, so in the words of the great Master Lee, emotion can be the enemy. If you give into your emotion, you lose yourself. You must be at one with your emotion because the body always follows the mind.